A secret space fleet with code-named Solar Warden has been covertly operating in our skies. Upon graduation with a master's degree in thermodynamics from UCLA, Ben Rich was hired by Lockheed. In December 1954, Rich was sent to the Secret Research and Development Skunk Works section run by Lockheed. Later was program manager for the SR-71 Blackbird propulsion system. The idea to paint the high-speed aircraft's skin black, to help dissipate the tremendous frictional heat, was Rich's. He championed the early prototypes of stealth technology and led the development of the F-117 stealth fighter. We already have the means to travel among the stars, but these technologies are locked up in black projects, and it would take an act of God to ever get them out to benefit humanity. Anything you can imagine, we already know how to do. We now have the technology to take ET home. No, it won't take someone's life to do it. There is an error in the equations. We know what it is. We now have the capability to travel to the stars. First, you have to understand that we will not get to the stars using chemical propulsion. Second, we have to devise a new propulsion technology. What we have to do is find out where Einstein went wrong. Ben Rich, CEO of Lockheed Skunk Works. The story behind this quote is an interesting one. At a lecture held in 1993 at the UCLA Alumni Center, Ben Rich, the former CEO of Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, held a speech about the advancements in space engineering during the previous 40 years. He concluded with the quote about taking ET home, while the final image in his slide presentation showed a black disk zipping out into outer space. Was this merely a joke, or was he hinting at something? Over the years, the Skunk Works division of Lockheed has designed and built a number of high-tech aircraft such as the U-2, the SR-71 Blackbird, the F-22 Raptor and the F-117 Nighthawk. Taking this into account, some have drawn the conclusion that Rich alluded to advanced technology being secretly developed, and it might be responsible for some of the flying discs we see today. Seems too far-fetched? We're on the same page, but wait, it gets better. Since approximately 1980, a secret space fleet code-named Solar Warden has been covertly operating in our skies. In fact, this has been the testimony shared by various whistleblowers and reporters all over the world. In 2001, British Systems Administrator Gary McKinnon hacked his way into 97 US military and NASA computers. He intended to find top-secret files regarding free energy, but stumbled upon something bigger. When Gary McKinnon hacked into US Space Command computers several years ago and learned of the existence of non-terrestrial officers and fleet-to-fleet transfers and a secret program called Solar Warden, he was charged by the Bush Justice Department with having committed their biggest military computer hack of all time, and stood to face prison time of up to 70 years after extradition from UK. But trying Ernest McKinnon in open court would involve his testifying to the above classified facts, and his attorney would be able to subpoena government officers to testify under oath about the Navy's space fleet. McKinnon also found out about the ships or craft within Solar Warden. It is said that there are approximately 8 cigar-shaped motherships, each longer than 2 football fields end to end, and 43 small scout ships. The Solar Warden Space Fleet operates under the U.S. Naval Network and Space Operations Command, NSOC, formerly Naval Space Command. There are approximately 300 personnel involved at that facility, with the figure rising. Solar Warden is said to be made up from U.S. aerospace black projects contractors, but with some contributions of parts and systems by Canada, United Kingdom, Italy, Austria, Russia, and Australia. It is also said that the program is tested and operated from secret military bases such as Area 51 in Nevada, USA. Such a fleet would require technology way ahead of what we've currently got. In order to send manned missions into the far reaches of our solar system, we'd need exotic materials and propulsion systems. But there are some who claim we already do. I suspect that in the last 60 years or so, that there has been some back engineering and the creation of this type of equipment, that is not nearly as sophisticated yet as what the apparent visitors have. Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the sixth astronaut to walk on the moon. President Ronald Reagan came by his knowledge of Solar Warden firsthand, according to his published diaries. The entry for Tuesday, June 11, 1985, page 334, reads: Lunch with 5 top space scientists. It was fascinating. Space truly is the last frontier, and some of the developments there in astronomy etc. are like science fiction, except they are real. I learned that our shuttle capacity is such that we could orbit 300 people. This is curious since the space shuttle holds a maximum of 8 people and only 5 were built for space flight. Even if all 5 took off fully loaded, it would be impossible to place and maintain 300 astronauts in orbit. Was Reagan revealing the existence of a highly classified space program that could accommodate hundreds of astronauts in orbit? Apparently so, according to dozens of military and corporate whistleblowers. Hidden within one of the 10 unified combatant commands of the U.S. military, Strategic Command, is a highly classified fleet of aircraft carrier-sized anti-gravity vehicles that operate in outer space. The United States has organized its military forces into 10 unified combatant commands respectively, led by a single 4-star general or admiral who reports directly to the Secretary of Defense. 6 of the unified commands span the globe in terms of different geographical areas. In addition, there are 4 functional commands where specialized military activities are run by a single combatant commander. From 1985 to 2002, Space Command was responsible for outer space operations by the U.S. military. In June 2002, Space Command merged with another of the functional commands, Strategic Command, which is responsible for a range of space, satellite, missile, nuclear and intelligence activities. Rumors that the U.S. has a highly classified fleet of anti-gravity vehicles have circulated for years. Further corroboration by William Tompkins. An important whistleblower to come forward is William Tompkins, whose first public appearance was on The Jeff Rense Show on December 14, 2015, where he describes some of his book's disclosure-filled content. Tompkins went into detail about how he was recruited into the Navy's covert espionage program during World War II to study and reverse engineer Nazi-designed anti-gravity spacecraft. Tompkins claims operatives revealed in the top-secret debriefings that up to and during the World War II, there were 2 flying saucer programs under development. The first was a largely civilian effort that predated the Nazi rise to power in 1933. While the second was led by the Nazi SS. Tompkins said that the civilian German space program had been inspired by a Nordic group of extraterrestrials who were communicating through young female German mediums. Even so, who would have the coin required to fund such a venture? The United States black budget for 2014 amounted to some $52.6 billion. $58.7 billion for 2015 and $64.8 billion for 2016. But even this astronomical sum isn't enough to fund or maintain a secret space fleet. And that's when conspiracy voices start mentioning the deep black budgets. Whether these programs are myth or reality is hard to tell. As it turns out, there might be UFOs that were built on Earth, based on technology that originated elsewhere in the universe. And we might have a space fleet without knowing it. Leave a comment telling us what you think about this idea.